Hello beautiful friends, welcome to another video. If you are new and you haven't come across me or my channel before, I am Emily, otherwise known as Shamanism. You can call me anything, just don't call me late for dinner. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm a musician, a vibrational healer, an author, a comedian, and a plethora of other things. So thank you for being here and joining us. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I wanted to talk about one of my favorite subjects, as you guys know, which is art. The more that I allow myself to experience art and allow myself to emotionally express through art, guess what? The better that I feel in my body. Now, I know you might be overlooking that and thinking, well, that sounds awfully simple. Does that really work? Is that really effective? And to that, I simply say, I invite you to try this, because I used to, and tell me if this sounds familiar, I used to restrain myself from doing, honestly, anything fun. And you're probably not like me. You probably have had a little bit of fun. Chances are, though, there's somebody out there like me who hasn't had a whole lot of fun. And when you finally allow yourself to express, for example, right, we see things in these movies where people get emotionally charged, very upset, say they're distraught over something, or they're very angry about something. They'll maybe take eggs and hurl them at something, or they'll take, quarts of paint and chuck them at something and just make art in their emotionally heightened state. And what I want to invite you to do is not only that, it is also that. I very much, in my opinion, it's one of the most healthy ways to express yourself is via art. And in my opinion also, it is one of the most fun, because who wouldn't love to throw some water balloons? Because who doesn't love the idea of throwing paint or vegetables or food at something when you're in an emotionally heightened state? I mean, genuinely, that sounds like fun to me most of the time. I don't know about the food. I get a little weird with food and stickiness and like smells. Other than that, it sounds like a good time. My point is, something that I've noticed we simply don't do enough of, especially nowadays with everyone glued into their phones, is allow ourselves to express in a healthy fashion. A lot of people adopted a lot of strange ways of emotionally surviving during the pandemic, and I invite you now to embrace the fun way to express. It is completely healthy, in my opinion, and I don't think many would disagree with me, to express yourself via any artistic way. For example, let's say you're feeling any kind of a way emotionally. You can let yourself, for example, do an activity. For me, it's going to be making a model, an art piece model type thing. Is this modeled after anything specific? No. The function of this piece of art is literally to allow me to get my emotions out into this creation. It's to create a thing that somehow visually, and I don't know how to explain this, emotionally, expresses what you're feeling at the time. That's one of the benefits of art. And to be honest with you, that's one of the things which I find to be the most potent about artists, for example, like Frida Kahlo. One of the things that made her painting so incredibly potent was because they emotionally cut, for lack of better words, straight to the bone. If you know the one painting I'm referencing, maybe I'll throw it in here. Hope YouTube won't take it out. I might not be able to include it. Know that there's one essentially of her opened up, and it's just this framework inside of her, this metal framework. She had a lot of physical ailments and put so much, maybe all of her emotions about every phase of her life into her art. And I found it so touching and beautiful that even, watching a movie about her life, I was just so touched. And my point is, art is one of the most unique ways, which is A, healthy for you to express with, and satisfying to express with, because it doesn't matter if you take a paintbrush and you paint a painting that way, or if you're, in your case, taking a piece of plywood and taking a quart of paint and just, to make these huge messy paint. It doesn't matter what it is. The beautiful thing about art is that you're free for it to take whatever shape it is. I think I've spoken about this in one of my art videos. Let's say you're making a painting. Who's to say you can't add something with glue and glitter to that? Who's to say that can't then turn into a 3D diorama? You know what I mean? The possibilities for what you create are quite literally endless, and it is one of the most fun ways to allow your imagination to run wild and to create stuff. And the really brilliant part about it is emotionally after that, versus, say, having a vent to someone where you're just kind of giving your baggage to the other person. This allows it out into the universe to be recycled, because, let's say you make a piece of art out of it, an option, something that you can do to then healthfully discard it, pending that all the materials you made it out of were burn friendly and are not going to release like toxic fumes into the atmosphere when you burn this thing. However, given it's made out of the appropriate materials, let's say you made it out of woods and things, you could burn this then, and there's the literal release of your emotions went into it, and then the release of when you burn it, and literally recycle that, let's say it's crappy energy, back into be used for good energy. And it's very, very effective. So I invite you that the next time that you're feeling an intense emotion of any variety, if you catch yourself, you have even a minute of thought to, instead of venting anywhere, perhaps to anyone, to pick up some medium of art, even if that's just a stick that you're drawing with in the sand. I've done this at times. I've made like a little Zen garden in just a random parking lot, kind of in the dirt. It can be whatever, wherever, as long as it's, safe, and is one of the healthiest ways to express yourself, and is actually satisfying to get those emotions out, works to get them out in a healthy way where the universe itself can recycle that energy for you in a different way. So if you know anyone who this video would help, please do share this message with them. Subscribe, as that really helps me as a content creator to get the messages like these out there to those folks who need to hear them. And last but not least, if you, my beautiful spirit soul, need any support or coaching, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at this email address, where it would be my genuine pleasure to serve you in whatever way I can. Have a beautiful and a blessed, artsy rest of your day or night, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next one. Namaste, much love, and stay healthy. Bye. But agree with me, or as that really helps me out. I'm in an emotion, I can't even say this, but who wouldn't let a car put so much, maybe all of her emotions about every phase of her life into her art? It can be whatever, wherever, as long as it's, safe. The more that I allow myself to experience art and allow myself to emotionally express through art, guess what? The better that I feel in my body.